Alrighty, we are recording. So for those of you listening at home, howdy. Let us pray. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Sancte Michael Arcangelo, defende nos in previo, contra nequitiam et insidias diaboli, esto presidio. Impede illi Deus, supplices de peccatum, tuque princeps malitiae celestis, Satana, aliosque spiritus malignos, qui ad perditionem arimarum pervegantur in mundo, divina virtute in infernum detruvi. Amen. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. See, you acquitted yourself pretty well. That's pretty nice. Alrighty. Oh, by the way, we're going to go over the homework, but remind me, before we leave, I do have a printout of chapters 1, 2, and 3 of the homework, so you know it ahead of time.
Is there
it
any
should be on the printer right now.
Right. Is there any possible way we could do like another day of translating phrases?
Another day of that?
Yeah.
Possibly. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
Okay.
That didn't go
So
well.
hang on, let me grab the book thingy. Ah, there's
Because I got done what we got in class, and then I stared at it.
I got this far and ready.
I got done what we did in class.
I
and
did
then-
this one with a question mark, question mark,
Okay.
question mark, question mark.
So I was able to do the ones that we did in class because it was we had help. But like at home, I stared at it for like 10 minutes, and I was like,
Okay.
I'm not getting anywhere. This isn't working.
We can do some practice on it, yeah. For now, well, actually, any of these you want to go through before we check it out? I'm okay with that.
What do you think about
So, chapter 1.
that? Do you want to at least look at it?
What was it? Just Wednesday, right? So page 35 thereabouts? Yes.
Okay, these tables are a little hard.
Yeah, page 35 and following. So, what would you like to see?
45 through 60.
45 through 60, okay.
We did the other ones in class
Okay,
with your help.
okay. Tell you what, let's try 45.
I tried 45, but
I got a P.
I want to talk through it.
I got.
I got a P, that's it.
They sometimes give you a word, then immediately give you the letter that they want you to use. So number 45, what do
Is
they want
that-
to use for perimeter?
Is that on page 36?
Correct.
P.
P. So that's the first letter you're going to write, P.
Yep, I got that.
Of a square, that doesn't mean P squared, it means of a square, it's just the geometry shape. So the perimeter of a square P is equal to 4 times the difference of a number S and 2. So 4 times, one thing you can ask yourself, as soon as you hear them saying 4 times, what would you want to ask?
So it would be what, and then. it would
Like,
just put it-
the amount of, what's something I have a lot of?
It would be,
Oh, the amount of grass I have in my lawn is 4 times.
It would be what it.
What do you want to ask?
What?
4 times what? Yeah. In other words, 4 times what? What is the answer to the what?
Everyone.
4 times. What does it say in the book? 4 times. What's the words that follow?
S.
Well, read it out.
The difference of a number S and
The difference of a number s and 2. What does the word difference mean?
two. Is it
Subtraction. Addition is sum. You might want to write this down if you don't have to. Addition gives you a sum. Subtraction gives you a difference. Multiplication, you remember that one? What's the answer to a multiplication problem? What's the answer to a multiplication problem? Sum is when you add, difference is when you subtract. What happens when you multiply?
Oh, I know what division.
What is it? Okay.
Isn't it
Starts with a
division?
P.
Product.
Product. Nice. Product. What is the one for division?
Motion.
Quotient. correct. That's actually the toughest one to remember. Quotients. Nice. So when they say the difference of a number s and 2, what do they really mean? If you do it in order, s minus 2. So it says 4 times that difference. How do you write that? How do you do 4 times a thingy, a whole thing?
4 times whatever your thingy is.
Would this work? It looks like it might, but there's something missing.
No.
It's 4 times the whole difference. How do you show that? Parentheses. 4 times the entire thing. Now, what did they originally say that was equal to?
P.
That's it. P equals 4 parentheses s minus 2. That's it. Does that make sense? Guess so. All right, next.
$35.
35? Okay.
I could read it.
What's that?
I said I could read it.
Oh, okay.
A number q is equal number q is equal to or greater than 100.
Okay, a number q is equal to or greater than, they actually said that backwards. Okay. It's supposed to be greater than or equal to 100. How do you write that?
Q is equal to
Is what?
no. Oh, it's greater than or equal to 100.
We would do.
That's it. That's number 35.
What did you do?
It is number 45.
45.
Oh, right. I thought it was 58 through 60.
What was that? It's 15 through 45 multiples of 3, and then 58 through 60.
And then there's also 35 to 36.
That's
And
pages
that's
35 and 36.
Oh my goodness.
I was so.
36 is one of the multiples of,
Okay.
of 3, but 35 is not.
It should be okay. You need to put a PG.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so that was not one of homework.
Correct.
Can that be extra credit?
36, well, nice try.
Okay, 58 and then to number 60.
Okay.
Because
58, 59, 60.
Oh, I feel
Okay.
special.
Number 58, you're running for class president. That's exciting. At 2:30 on election day, you have 95 votes, and your opponent has 120 votes. 45 more students will be voting. Let X represent the number of students who vote for you. Now, how many votes do you have so far? 95, correct. And how many people could vote for you total? 45 more. So you could have up to 45 more. Are you guaranteed that all 45 will vote for you?
No.
No, unfortunately. If they had a
That's a
taste,
lot
they
of
would,
people.
but yes. So we've got, let's say, you versus
Me.
they. Now, how many votes do you have right now? 95? And how many does the other person have? 120. How many extra votes are there out there? Yeah, 45 total. Now, assuming, did they say use X for the number of votes you get? I forgot what letter they wanted.
What X represents the number of students?
The number of students with what,
Of
that what?
the 45. Of the 45.
The students of the 45 that do what?
Vote for you.
That vote for you. That's important. So X is the number of students of the 45 who vote for you. So how many votes do you have total? It's not a number, it's a formula. That would be multiplying.
Plus X.
Plus X. Does that make sense? So 95 plus however many more you get. How many votes is the other person gonna get?
X.
X is how much you got.
Oh,
Now how many total again are still out there?
45.
45. And if you use up X of them, how many are left?
45 minus X.
Yeah, you see that? It's the 45 minus the votes that voted for you. So whatever I don't know idea what this is, but it's however many leftover votes there are. Now, does that make sense, Laura? That took a little trickiness, but if you know that X is how many votes you get in the book club of that, so you have 95 so far, you're gonna get X more. And this other person has to get the leftovers, like however much is left from 45. What's the last thing they want you to do? Write a formula that says what? For part A. Tell you what, Jenny, read it from beginning to end. Number 58.
Write an inequality that shows the
Actually, freeze for a second. What's an inequality? Okay. An equality has an equal sign in it. An
Oh,
inequality
is it
has
the-
something else.
Okay.
That's one of the 5 not
And
equals.
then there's the other one.
There's one on the board, actually.
Greater than.
Greater than or equal to?
Oh,
What
greater
number?
than or equal to.
There are like 5 of them. Name them.
Greater than, less than,
greater
equal
than,
to.
less than, greater than or equal to,
Less than equal to.
and one that we don't
then
use
the-
very
the
often.
slash one.
not equals. Right. Those are what are called inequalities. Those are inequality symbols. So you can use those whenever you need. So it says use one of these to make this formula work. Now, what do you want to have happen in this election?
It'd be,
Like,
greater
what do you
than
want the
or
outcome to be?
Greater.
Don't worry about the formulas yet. Just in real life, what do you want to happen?
I wanna be the president.
Yeah, you want to win. So how do you win an election?
You get more votes.
You get more votes. Here's your votes, here's the other person's votes. What do you put here?
Greater than or equal to.
Bingo. Actually, equal to wouldn't work because that would be a tie. You wouldn't win.
Greater than or greater than.
That's it. That's the answer for part A. Number 58A. See that? So, the trick to doing a multi-step problem like this is do the pieces one step at a time. It's kind of like eating a Thanksgiving turkey. You eat it one bite at a time. You don't try and swallow the whole thing, you'll choke. I've never tried it, but I understand it's bad. So, 18-pound turkey. It doesn't work. You can't keep your mouth open that wide, and if you did, you'd rupture something. My fault. Now, take a look. Is everybody clear on the, let's just see if we can recreate this. I'm gonna erase this. I'm gonna give you a new setup. Another election. Here's you. Here's they. If you're talking about the objective data. Let's just say you have 120 votes so far. And they have 95. So you're leading. I figure it's only fair. And there are 60 more votes. Can somebody tell me how to set up the total number of votes when the whole thing is done? Yeah.
Plus X.
Plus X. What do you do here? Plus
Parentheses.
what? Good.
69.
Yes, and you make sure you put it in parentheses. Yeah, it's however many is left over from the 60. So add that to your 95. Now let's pretend we want you to win, and you're not just taking a dive and losing. What do you have to put here? Great. Does that make sense? That will give you more votes. Ta-da, you're done. Now, the slightly more exciting thing, part B. What is the smallest value of X that's a solution? In other words, what's the smallest number of votes you can, let me put the real one back up. What's the smallest number of votes you can get and still win? There are several ways to do this. I forgot how many votes you have. Did you have 90?
95.
95. So 95 plus X, and then was it 120?
Yes.
Plus, was it 45 X then?
Yes.
Okay. And we had a greater than thing in here. They want to know what's the value of X, like what's the smallest number of votes you can get and still win. And that's a useful question to ask. Like you say, oh, I get it. Well, let's try it. If I get, let's do a three-way table. There is another way to do this, but let's just try. Let's just say you get 5 votes out of 5 more votes. Will that win? Let's find out. How many votes will that give you total? Give X is 5. 100. Good. How many will that give them?
30, 40.
That'll give them. Okay, so 45 minus X, so that'd be 40. Then add to the 120. 40
140.
plus 120? 160.
What? Oh, wow.
There you go. Remember that, Sarah? So did that work?
No.
Did you win? No. So you need more votes. Do you think it would be enough if I bumped it up to 10? Or we need more? No. This is way far away.
It's 26 to 26.
Hold on. Let's try 20. Let's try 20. What's this now? Anyway. How many do you have? 115. How about here? Do this first. What's 45 minus 20? 25. Add it.
45.
Yeah. It's better, but still not good enough.
Do
Try 30.
26.
Let's try 30. We've got, add 30 here.
125.
125. And then, what's 30 here?
50.
Yeah, 15, add it.
35.
Still losing. So, it's close though. Let's try 40. Add 40.
Isn't it? Wouldn't it
I probably overshot.
be
But.
5?
Say again?
Try 35.
Hold on. Try 40. Just humor.
It's
135. Put the 40 here. What's 45 minus 40? 5. What do you get?
135.
That definitely wins. Can you do it with less votes than that?
35.
Probably. Try 35. What am I doing? 35. Try 35 here. 130. Try it here. What's 45 minus 35?
It'd be, sorry, this is the answer.
You're tied. Now that's actually kind of the number you need. How many votes do you actually need to win?
36.
36. Correct.
Okay, we were 10 off of under 26. That's
Makes
why,
sense.
it's because I minus wrong.
We were off by 10 minutes.
So that's one way to solve a problem like this. We technically have not covered how to solve these yet, as far as like algebra, but we can use a table and figure out, okay, go forward, oop, too far, go back, blah, blah, blah. Does that make sense? All right, next. Any other ones you want to see dissected?
Was that 59 or
That was 58, part A and part B.
39.
39?
59.
59, okay.
It's
59,
no longer.
read.
Literally
You're
just-
shopping for a mountain bike. The store sells 2 different models. Oh my goodness, you have to, that's like build your own bike. Yeehaw. Hang on. I would go to a different store myself. But the model that is, oh, I see, it is put together. You can get different features. The model that has steel wheel rims costs $220. Aluminum wheel rims cost $480. So the aluminum wheels are way more expensive. You have a summer job for 12 weeks. You save $20 a week, which would allow you to buy the model with the steel wheel rims. Double check and make sure that's right. How much money would you get at the end of the summer?
120. No.
Do the math. 20 a week,
Yeah,
12 weeks.
yeah,
How'd you get the answer?
It would be 120.
Yeah, what's 12 times 20?
Isn't it 120? No?
That's 10 times 12.
What would it be?
What's 20 times 12? And one option, rather than counting, what would you write on a piece of paper?
120.
120?
Times.
I actually 12 rather.
Sorry.
12
12
times
times 20.
20. So $20 for 12 weeks. So
It'd
here's
be
you. Go ahead and talk me through it.
0.
This is gonna be really boring.
0, 0,
0, that's
0,
fine.
right under 0.
Yeah, then an extra 0, and then 2 times 2 is 4.
4.
2 times 1 is
Okay, 240.
You see what I did?
240.
Yeah, it's $240. So at the end of the summer, you have $240. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is that enough to get the steel rim runway?
Yes.
Yeah, and you have $20 left over. You want to know how much more money you would have to save each week to buy the aluminum. Now, how much more money do you need
$20.
total? The whole thing costs $480. First, talk me through this.
It'd be $21. Why? Because divided by 2.
Well, hang on a second. You got the aluminum bike for $480. How much money did you get? Oh, slow.
Can I walk you? Can I walk you through?
Remember
how it
Aesop's
works?
fable
Wait,
with the?
wait, I have a question.
Remember Aesop's fable with the tortoise and the hare?
Can I
Remember the
walk you
moral
through
of the
on
story?
how I get my answer?
Let me ask my question, and I'll let you ask yours. Aesop's fables, the tortoise and the hare. You remember the story?
Yes.
And the hare ran, and it's I'm so far ahead, I'll take a nap. And then the tortoise beat him. What was the moral of the story? Slow and steady wins the race. Ding, 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 ding.
Can I walk you through on
Slow
how I get
down.
my answer?
Slow. Okay.
Ah.
Step through the answer, and then I'll step through it.
Okay, 240 times 2 is 480.
Correct.
And you would need to save $40 a week.
Well, you overshot it by a little bit.
Oh.
That would work, but you don't need quite that much money.
Would it be? It would be.
Let me try mine.
Alright.
How much extra money do you need?
240.
Yeah, you
Wow.
have 240 right now at the end of the summer. And by the way, I'm not saying your answer is wrong, but double check. You could pay for the other one that was 220, right? So you have $20 left over. So 240, you do need 240 more. So
You would need to
actually,
save for.
you got me.
It's
on this one.
25.
You would
It
need.
is 20 extra dollars. a week.
Yeah, you would need
Yeah.
to save.
Talk me through it though. Give me the steps.
Okay, so after you have your 240, you
Uh-huh.
times that by 2.
Well, you skipped a bunch of steps. Why would you times it
Wait.
by 2?
Wait, no,
Because-
the 240 has 12 weeks because last time it says you get $20 for 12 weeks, and you get 240, and so 12 plus 12 is 140 because it'd be another 12
We all,
weeks.
either that or you could just save $24.
I know of at least 2 ways to do this problem. What they're asking is not how much more money you need total, which is a good question to
How much
ask,
more weeks?
but how much per week. I want to know how much total first. How much more money total do you need?
240.
240. We need an extra 240. You need an extra 240. And how many weeks do they allow you to work?
12 weeks.
12. So if you need an extra, if 12 weeks at $20 each give you 240,
240.
then if you just do double that, which by the way, that's where you finally got it. So you skip a couple of, you got it right this time. Just want to make sure, don't torpedo ahead and get the answer. It doesn't always work that way. But you tell me, how much money per week would actually make this work? 40. Correct. You got it right.
Either
Want
that
to
or
make sure you don't leave things behind in the dust.
Or you
It
could
might
work
be the right
for
answer.
24 weeks and save $20 a
Wait,
week.
where did my pencil go?
Right,
It's
right.
here.
Assuming, well,
That's why you read marker.
if you're working at a swimming resort or something, going into January probably
No, it
won't work.
fell. Oh, I heard it fall.
Questions? By the way, 59, write a verbal model and an algebraic model for how much money you would have to save each week. In other words, 59, they don't want your final answer. They want a formula. So how do you do that? That's the final answer.
It would be.
So how much, well, how many weeks do you have so far? That's gonna be constant.
12.
12 weeks. I'll put that here. Times, how much money were you getting originally per week?
$20.
20. And you want to make more money per week, correct? At the beginning of the problem, did we know how much more money?
Is he making $20 a week, or is he making
He's
more
making
than that? And-
$20 a week at the beginning. The very first time around, he was making $20 a week, or she. Does that make sense, Mark? So the first time around,
But it, okay, I think
Well,
I'm thinking too far.
okay, the first time around, this first experiment, 12 weeks, $20 a week, period. Yeah, $240, it would have been enough to buy the steel rim, but not the aluminum. What this person wants to know is, how much more should he or she earn per week? Well, let's
Another
pretend.
$20.
Yeah, you jumped ahead and knew the answer. You were kind of lucky because it was a nice round number. If it had been $17.35, I don't think it would have been easy to pluck out of the thing here. That's kind of my point. 12 weeks times, so we did 12 times 20, is that right?
Yes.
For the original one? You want to make more money, right? And you want to make a certain amount of money per week more. At the beginning of the problem, did they tell you how much more? No. What do you want to use in place of that unknown?
X.
Bingo. Here's how to get a formula. Whatever you don't know, put a variable in. So 12 times, is it just 12 times 20?
No.
Is it just 12 times x?
No.
How do you do 12 times the whole thing? How do you write that?
Put in parentheses.
Yes. Ding, 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 ding. Here's a slightly neater way to write it. 20 plus x. That make sense, Amar?
Yes.
And how much money do you want to have total?
$480.
And what do I put here?
Equals.
Equals. Got it. That's the formula number 59. Okay. And number 60, yes, you were right. X is equal to $20 extra. Makes sense? So part of the key, again, this one was not too bad to solve in our head, but nowhere does it guarantee they're going to be whole numbers. Or they might be whole numbers, but weird numbers like 13 or something like that. Yeah. What's 13 times 24? I don't know. Yeah. That gets a little hard to do in your head. So if you have a formula, which by the way, a little later on in this chapter, we're going to actually cover how to solve this. Solving is how to get x by itself. Double check, make
I think
sure
I could do that.
What's that?
I said I think I could. Could we?
We did it up to a point. And
Can
we're
I
gonna give-
attempt to solve it trying to get x by itself right now?
Good. Hang on a second. Let me clear the road though. Clear the road. Clear the board. Wow. I need a nap. All right. Talk me through it.
Okay. So 12 times 20 is.
Okay. Oh, let me recap it.
Okay.
12 parentheses is 20 plus 9. Okay. Equals 40.
Okay.
Go for it.
12 times 20 would be not 140. 240.
Okay. What
So
do
you would write 240 underneath it plus 12 because 12 times 1 is 12 equals 480.
You missed something.
Then
12 what?
x.
Ah, very good. What did you just do here? What's the technical word for that? Multiply and multiply. Starts with D. DI. What's that? DIS. Distribute. You distribute it. You multiply it more than once. So 240 plus 12x is equal to 480. Okay.
And then minus 240.
Explain why you did that.
Because you gotta get away from the 12. You gotta go the farthest and you get away from it.
Okay, try that again in English.
Alright, so since 240 is farther away from x, you
Good.
do that one first.
Good. There's a rule in algebra that says when you cancel stuff, like you gotta get rid of the 12 and you gotta get rid of the 240 in order to get x by itself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Which one do you get rid of first?
The 240.
Why?
Because it's not with x. It's further away.
It's furthest away. You always cancel with furthest away from the x first. Correct. So how do you get rid of 240 again?
Minus 240.
Right, because they added it, you
And
subtract.
then you gotta do it on both sides.
Correct, in order to keep it balanced.
And then it would be 12x
Uh-huh.
equals 240.
Very good.
And then you divide by 12.
Why
on
divide?
both sides. Because it was 12 times x.
Yeah, they multiply by 12, you divide by 12, as long as you do it to
Both sides.
both sides.
X equals
How many times does 12 go into 24?
20.
2, and then an extra
0.
0. Exactly. And it agrees with our answer,
And
which
I
is
was
good,
told-
because it's right. What's that?
I said I saw a different way to do that.
Like what?
So if you had the problem, you would.
There is another way to do this particular one. I don't know if it's the same way you're thinking.
Okay,
What were you
so
thinking?
at middle school, I was taught draw a line down, like do like a graph and draw a line down on the equal sign. And
Okay.
put up two different sides.
Okay?
And then, but first you would have to do, get to like the 240 plus
Minus
12
crooked,
x.
but-
Yeah, you'd have to get to like. It's easier if I come up.
Okay.
So you'd have to get to this part first, and then you draw a line down the middle, and you move that over to this side.
Okay. How do you move it over?
It would be turn into another because it's opposite, and you move it over.
Okay, so they probably told you, whenever you move something to the other side, you
Yeah,
switch the sign?
yeah.
Yes, that's true. It's kind of a shortcut. You can do that, yeah. And then they told you how to divide this by 12?
Yep, so then you'd have that problem, and then you get down.
Okay. I'll show you a third one.
Almost
Did you catch
finished it.
did you catch what they did there? During the,
Hmm?
there's a rule that if you want to move something to the other side, you can do that, just switch the sign and make it negative.
Mhm.
Or if it's negative, make it positive. I'll show you one other way. It's super sneaky. Now remember, this is an equal sign, which means you can do anything you want as long as you do it to both sides. You notice the 12 is multiplied? Technically, that's furthest away. You could, if you wanted, divide both sides by 12 right now. And do 20 plus x equals 40. And now subtract 20. This particular one was lucky. So that was, it looks a lot faster. It's kind of deceptive. The reason that worked pretty well is because 12 goes into 480. If this were 13, I would never do this. It's like, like 480 divided by 13, I would immediately get scared away and say, no. Let's try the distributing way, because it's way easier. Questions? Anything else?
60.
60. That's the actual answer. Use mental math to solve the equation. First of all, it's 20.
Done.
And then what does that represent? Put it in
Done.
words. 20 what?
Dollars.
$20
A week.
a week. Exactly. You'd say $20 a week. More, $20 a week total? There's a couple extra words. Is that $20 a week total that you need? $20 a week what?
Times 2.
They didn't do times 2.
X. Oh, plus 20.
Yeah, $20 a week more. In other words, that's how much more you need per week. Does that make sense? So $20 a week more. Anything else?
That's it.
Feel a little better on that one? Alrighty, let's check that out. We'll work together. Let's see.
Right here. There we go.
Okay, good. Yep. All right, let me read off the answers, the other ones. We actually read off a few of them already. Let's see, so 15 through 45 multiples of 3, and 58 through 30. So starting at number 15, 3 more than half of a number should be 1/2 x plus 3, or you could have x over 2 plus 3. Either one's fine. Is everybody guys fine? Okay. Number 18, double check this. The product of 4 and a number should be 4x.
I put
Cool.
4 times X.
That's okay, although 4x is the best answer because it's nice and condensed. 19, and number 21. 5 squared minus a number. You should do 5 to the second power minus x. Didn't we do 25 minus x? That would be okay too, I suppose. 24. 25 is the quotient of a number y and 3.5. You should have 25 equals y over 3.5.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah. 25 equals y over fraction, y over 3.5. 27. 3 times the quantity, we might have done this in class, but I'll do this. 3 parentheses x minus 2 equals 10. 3 parentheses x minus 2 is equal to 10. Doesn't work 27. So if it doesn't match yours, write that down. Number 30. It's t plus parentheses. I don't think you really need the parentheses on this. I'll accept either or. T plus 7 plus s squared equals 10. I kind of like parentheses around a 7 plus s squared, but I won't require it. 33. 9 plus a fraction b over 10 is greater than or equal to 11. Remember, greater than or equal to should be pointing to the right. Can you repeat so far? Number 36. X squared plus 44 equals 3x to the 4th. 3x to the 4th. 39. B equals e minus 1.50. B equals e minus 1.50. I'm sure that matches yours. Pi, number 42, sorry. Pi equals c over d fraction. And 45, which
We
is
did
the-
45.
Oh, we did 45, that's right. And we did
There's
58, 59, 60. Nice. All right. Let's see.
Can we do more of those?
Maybe. Let me see.
Or is this gonna be one of those things where we never touch them again?
How much time do we have? You know what? I think we could. I'll have to update the people who are at home.
Person that is home.
Potentially people. Could be Michael. And that's it.
Yeah, Michael's.
Yeah, Mike
here.
Garcia, he's in geometry right now.
He's in geometry?
Yeah.
What's he doing in my class roster then?
You gotta ask him, but he was in
The
humanities.
plus?
Yeah, he was in
Okay.
humanities.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, I'll double check that. My life is becoming one big mystery. That's okay. Let me see. Actually, tell you what, I'm going
I don't have
to.
more time. I don't know.
Yes, I think I can give you another batch of this. If you could grab a pen, let me give you another assignment with the same step. I'm going to call this.
Can we own a TV, but we never use it?
I look over
It's a
here?
decoration on the wall.
Ladies.
Very first one is borrow.
We're listening.
Yeah, you're also talking. Talking and listening are not good things to go together. So I'm going to call this 1F2. It's going to be pages 35 and 36 again. And this might be a little harsh, right? Do a problem. In a second. I'm just going to write it out. 16, 19, no, yeah, 19, 22, 25, 28, 31, 34, 37, 40, 43, and that's it. So I have to list them all out, but what I wanted to do is take the multiples of 3 and then add 1. But that's kind of an algebra problem in the middle of an algebra problem, which might get a little funky. That'd be kind of fun. One of these days I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna say, page 35 to 36, and I'd like you to do problems 3x plus 7, where x is there, and then have you figure out which one that means. That would be awesome.
And then if you get the
And then everybody gets
wrong,
the wrong hand problem.
if you get the wrong answer, then you do all the wrong problems.
Yeah, you do all the wrong problems. Coolness. Anyway, that should work. Hopefully, Isaiah, you can see that. You have the rest of the hour to work on this. So, Isaiah, God bless your health. This is my hand waving goodbye, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.